topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. This is our 12th year with Ask the Experts, and we have built up such an incredible audience. This expert, we have done something that we have never done before, because it is such an important topic to me, and it's stop snoring. I got to tell you, I always try not to get choked up about this, but I've had a lot of health issues, and I got to tell you that a lot of them stem from sleep apnea. And for years, I have had to use what's called a CPAP machine to sleep with. It has kept me from snoring, but it is the most uncomfortable way to sleep. And about a year and a half ago, I met our next expert, and she told me that she had a new technique that she had developed and about the success. Well, when you have sleep disorders, you have tried everything. Last thing you want is a CPAP machine. And I got to tell you, it was, it's going to be more false hopes, but I'm willing to try anything. And you do. When you have a snoring problem, a sleep apnea problem, you want to try everything and anything. And believe me, there's many things on the market. I started on her program. First of all, it was the most easiest program. It was so easy to go, there's no way this is going to work. But I'm going to tell you, and I'm getting ready to bring her on. It has been, I'd say, 4 or 5 months now that I have slept without a CPAP machine. And it has changed my life. Let me welcome you to my hero, Janet Bennett.
Good morning. Thank you for that nice introduction.
You are my hero.
I'm so glad that it's worked for you, but it worked for you because you followed directions, right?
But they were very easy though, Janet.
That's right. That's right. But you didn't have to think of it yourself. So you just followed directions. Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, and I hope I'm not out of place doing this, but you are very special to me. Janet's mother is recovering from a stroke. And I just want everybody out there, because prayer is so important. I just want everybody to keep both Janet's mother and Janet in your prayers. Thank you, Janet. God bless you.
Thank you.
Tell everybody about Janet Bennett and
Okay.
miracle.
Well, I'm a speech pathologist, and I have been for a very long time. And I was specializing in the treatment of tongue thrust. And a tongue thrust, some of you may not know what that is. A tongue thrust is when you swallow, your tongue pushes the back of your teeth. And you might have buck teeth. You've seen people where their teeth are sticking out some, or when their teeth are open and they can't close them like that. When they swallow, their tongue comes out between their teeth. So that's a tongue thrust. And they go to the dentist, and the dentist Some dentists don't believe in tongue thrust. I need to throw that out there, but the dentist hopefully will refer them to me, a speech pathologist who specializes in the treatment of tongue thrust. Now, here's what happens if he or she doesn't. The dentist could put braces on that person and make the teeth gorgeous, and the braces would come off, and within just a matter of weeks, probably, because the tongue is still pushing against the back of the teeth are going to move out again and be right back where they were before the dentist put the braces on. Now, some dentists just keep putting braces on time after time, as long as the parents will pay for it. But hopefully they'll send them to me. And what I do is I train them to swallow differently so it's not pushing the back of their teeth. That's all there is to it. So instead of the tongue pushing the back of the teeth, I train the tongue, get them to train their tongue for it to live on the roof of their mouth right behind the teeth. Easy peasy with some exercises. Now, what does that have to do with snoring and sleep apnea? Well, whenever you have a tongue thrust, you probably are also breathing through your mouth. A lot of people breathe through their mouth even if they don't have a tongue thrust. But anyway, I'm leading up to this 14-year-old football player that I was treating for the tongue thrust. And I have a 7-lesson program. And he was on lesson 3, and his mom came into my office and she said, "Janet, what are you doing to Adam?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, he's always been the loudest snorer in the world. He rattles our windows." And y'all think about that. And she said, "But now he's not making a sound." I was speechless. I didn't know anything about snoring. I certainly didn't understand why what we were doing would help stop snoring. So I turned to Adam and I said, "Tell me more." And he said, "Well," he said, "I'm doing better in school. I can concentrate better. I'm making better grades, and I run faster." Remember, he's a football player, and he told me he ran faster because of what we were doing, because of tongue exercises. Get out. I was confused. But anyway, so after class, I got on the computer and I knew I was going to find that they help stop snoring with tongue exercises. And I looked all over the internet and I found nothing that talked about tongue exercises. They wanted to give you a CPAP machine like Steve had. They wanted to break your jaw and pull it forward so your airway got bigger. They wanted to lop off your uvula, that thing that hangs down in the back. They wanted to, a dentist, maybe a $6,000 appliance. And they wanted to maybe put some stiffeners in the side of your uvula. That's a new one, so that it wouldn't flop back and forth. Anyway, none of it worked. I of course kept researching to find out, well, is it good? Does it work? None of it worked. And
Yeah, I
so,
know.
well, I couldn't understand why people kept buying this stuff. Anyway, so here
And
I
our
am.
expert, just to let you know, our expert dentist in Houston, who's on this afternoon, absolutely believes in tongue thrust.
Good, good, good. See, that's great. That's great. And then everybody can work together. But anyway, so I was very excited. Let me just say my life has never been the same. And that was in 2003. Never been the same. I was so excited because I had something. These exercises, tongue exercises. I thought, oh my goodness, look at the millions of people who snore and they're struggling. And at this point, I still did not appreciate how bad mouth breathing was. Okay, so
Did
I
you
was
know how unhealthy it was, Janet, at that time?
no, I did not, because I just had never had a reason to even think about it because I don't mouth breathe and snore anyway. But I quickly started learning a lot about mouth breathing and the bad things that happen to you when you do mouth breathe. Because when you're sleeping, your mouth has got to be open some for it to make that noise, you know. And that's with the air's going back and forth over your uvula. That thing hangs down. And so, but if your lips are closed, you aren't going to make a noise. There's a very small percentage of people who do snore through their nose. I want to throw that out there because I bet there's one listening to me right now, and I am aware of that problem, but my exercises will not help that problem. Okay, I think it's just some kind of congestion in the nose. But anyway, so I started learning about mouth breathing and everything. So I felt the need to save the whole world. I quickly went through, didn't want to train the trainer. I didn't want to have classes everywhere. I didn't know how I was going to do that. And so I decided I will write up a program, a 7-week treatment program, to have it online, so that when that person, educated or not, just so they could read, that person has a problem, they're researching stopping snoring, they find my exercises, they purchase it, it's very inexpensive. They purchase it and they've got it immediately on their computer, electronically, immediately. They can start with lesson 1. And whenever they go to lesson 1, they're like, well, I don't know what to do. Well, you can see me training an adult male how to do each exercise. So you will be able to learn easily how to do each exercise without me, because I'm really there.
And you make
Okay.
it very easy, Janet.
Yeah, good. And then the next thing is you'll learn, oh, I have to do these exercises twice a day or it won't work. When you're trying to change a habit or build a new habit, what's the key to that? Repetition, 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 repetition. So if you do your exercises 1 time a day and maybe not all 20 times that you were supposed to, and then you go a few days, that's not going to work. Your brain needs repetition, repetition, repetition every day. And it will take like 10 minutes usually to do the exercises.
If that.
So I have since seen some programs coming on with some exercises, and they need like 3 hours a day to exercise. So that's not the case here. But anyway, whenever you get this program, you learn how to do the exercise. Well, let's say you don't really feel like exercising. Well, the thing that's going to help you is to know that you can click on another button and you can come into my exercise room, that I call it, and I'm sitting there waiting for you. You come in, you don't need anything. You just come in and you copy me. I will do the exercises that you are supposed to be doing for that lesson. And you just copy me. If you have to do it 5 times, I'll do it 5 times. 5 minutes, I'll do it 5 minutes. Whatever. So it's really a no-brainer. Okay? And if you follow me 2 times a day, come back and do those exercises, you will start waking up with a mouth that is not as dry as it used to be. You will start waking up with no more headaches. You will not get as sleepy during the day. Or, because these things change gradually, you may find that you get sleepy at 5 o'clock instead of 1 o'clock. Okay? These things tell you what? It means that longer and longer periods during the day, you're keeping your lips closed and you're starting to breathe through your nose. I know this is confusing. Snoring, tongue thrust, breathing. There are 3 very important functions of our body, and that is swallowing, sleeping, and breathing. Think about those 3 things. Swallowing, sleeping, breathing. So I treat the sleeping part. I treat the breathing part because I want you to keep your lips closed. And I have to treat the swallowing part because we're going to move where your tongue hits on the palate. So all 3 things get affected with these simple exercises. If I said, I don't want to treat swallowing, I just want to treat sleeping and breathing, it wouldn't happen because the swallowing would fix itself anyway. They're all
Right.
connected. They're all connected. So you can have a slew of symptoms that you don't even know where they are coming from. I'm going to give you some examples, but I need to get some ideas here. Okay, so you may have pain and tension in your neck and shoulders. All right. Now, what does that have to do with swallowing and snoring and everything? It has to do with tension, the way you're holding your jaw, your mouth, all those things. When you train your tongue to live on the roof of your mouth, it aligns your cranial bones. So if you're used to grinding your teeth, they're seeking alignment. So what if all of a sudden you get aligned? Then you won't need to do that, hopefully. I'm not a dentist. I'm just sharing what I've seen other people do. Um, you may, the daytime sleepiness, you're going to see a change in that as you do your exercises more faithfully for 7 weeks, guys. Think about this. I treated a man who had a sleep study, and he stopped breathing 46 times an hour. He was in bad shape. He had a lot of physical problems. His mouth was open all day, all night, okay? And of course his heart, when you stop sleeping that much, you've got severe sleep apnea, and every time that you snort to wake yourself up, that means your heart had stopped. And so
Yeah.
your loved one who's laying in the bed beside you was right when she thought you stopped breathing. Okay? So 46 times an hour to stop breathing, it really puts a toll on your heart. So he did my exercises. Now, I'm not saying I can get rid of sleep apnea. I just advertise that I can get rid of the snoring, and I'll train them how to breathe through their nose instead of their lips. And
Janet, can I just want to add something because people out there are probably going, well, she's treated other people, but I've got it really bad. My sleep disorder was so bad. I wasn't on a CPAP machine. I was on a BiPAP machine. That means mine was even worse. And it did not take me 7 weeks, Janet. It took me about 2.5 weeks
well, you're
of your
special,
program.
Steve. You're special.
But I mean, see, it's still so amazing to me that your techniques just stop my snoring, that I don't need a BiPAP machine. But I
Um,
wanted to make sure people understood mine
thank
was the worst of the worst,
Yeah,
and your
yeah.
program cured me.
Okay, good. Let me finish this 46 time an hour guy. Anyway, so he did my exercises for 7 weeks, and he went back and had another sleep study. And he didn't stop breathing 46 times an hour. After only 7 weeks, think about that, 7 weeks of exercises, he went down to 11 times an hour.
Wow. Wow.
And I'm sure he's probably down to 5. 5 or less is not sleep apnea because he kept doing his exercises. But y'all, that's huge. And that right there proves that my program does work. I just need a whole bunch of those people to prove that. But anyway, so that was huge to think that he could make that big of a difference on the damage that was being done to his heart by doing those exercises. Okay, so some other things, some other symptoms that you may have, and you don't know it's due to mouth breathing. You might wake up tired. Well, you definitely will wake up tired. I ask people, do you wish you could just sleep for 5 more minutes? And they're like, yes. Okay, that tells me quickly they breathe through their mouth. I only need to hear one yes, and I know it. You might have asthma. People with asthma breathe through their mouth usually, and they're breathing in cold, dirty air. So think about that one. You might have bad night terrors. That's affected by mouth breathing. You might have stomach aches and pains after you eat. Some people, when they chew their food, they might smack their lips or keep their mouth wide open the whole time. And the reason they're doing that is because they're a mouth breather. And if you think about chewing and your lips are closed, you're going to get scared that you can't breathe through your nose. So they have to open their mouth a little to get some air in. Okay. Sometimes some adults, children too, complain about feeling like something's stuck in their throat. Okay. And why is that? That's because their swallow is weak. So I want to jump ahead just a little bit here because I want to tell you after after I discovered this with Adam and the way these exercises helped him so much, I decided I had to immediately treat more people with my exercises. And, I couldn't wait. I needed a lot of people. So I found 86 people all over the United States who would be my guinea pigs. And at the time, we didn't have Zoom or anything like that. So I used email, of course, and telephone. So these 86 people, I scheduled them so that I met with them once a week on the phone. I would send them their lesson for the week and talk to them on the phone at a particular day and time and make sure they knew how to do the exercises and hear any updates on how they were doing. I have all those records. And at the end of all of those 86 people, I think 11 of them were on CPAPs. But at the end of it, there was a 94% success rate.
Amazing.
I know you can't find that kind of
And I
success
think some
rate.
of those the 6%, I bet you some of them didn't follow the
Right,
instructions.
right, probably so. Now, 11 of those were on CPAPs. I did not tell them to not use their CPAP. However,
You never do.
after they experienced all the physical changes, they tried it without their CPAP, and 3 of them stayed off of their CPAP. So that was very good. And the next year, I used all children. I had all these children that I treated, and only 100% of them stopped snoring. One little girl said, "I know I've stopped snoring." I said, "How do you know you've stopped snoring?" She said, "Because my cat came back and he's sleeping with me now." Little things like
I love
that
it.
will tell you, and people might ask me, "Well, you haven't really proven that this works." Well, how do you prove something like that? It's word of mouth, if you will. It's both the person and their significant other saying, "He doesn't snore anymore," or, but I mean, ideally, if a person has sleep apnea, they should have a sleep study before and after these exercises. But if a person just snores, they're not going to go have a sleep study. So, yes, you've
Mm-mm.
got to go by what you hear and what you don't hear, you know? Okay, so I do want to talk about a few more things here.
I know we
Um,
only have 2 minutes
2
left.
minutes, okay. All right, well, we won't do that. I will say one thing. All of you out there who are listening to me and you say, "Uh-oh, I breathe through my mouth, blah, blah, blah." I want you to say the word door. Your tongue tip will hit the roof of your mouth right behind your teeth for the duh sound. That's the magic spot. You put your tongue tip on there, close your lips, let the rest of your tongue go up comfortably, and sit there for 5 minutes. And when you swallow, don't let your tongue tip slide forward, and you will start getting in the habit of keeping your lips closed. Okay, so
How do
now,
they order your program?
okay, you go to www.correctmytonguethrust.com. You can email me because I have another program, same exercises, okay? Stop snoring, but it's called I Just Want to Sleep. So I'm the author, AUTHOR, author at IJustWantToSleep.com, or you can call me 828-273-9888, and I will respond. I will. I love to answer your questions and help.
Janet, you're my hero. Our prayers are with you and your mother.
Thank
And
you.
Janet will be back with us next month. Thank you, Janet. I
Thank
love you.
you. Thank you, Steve.
That's Janet Bennett. She's my hero. That's it for us today. We'll be back again with you next week with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.